Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Wanted to touch a base and number one, say Happy New Year. And I hope everyone is going to have a wonderful New Year's and Happy New Year's Eve. So I wanted to go over one of the products that I have within my Etsy shop. And I'm also going to have it on my website. But I wanted to go through with it because I think one of the huge things, as I've mentioned in the past, was managers. And it's very important to help to enhance their leadership skills as they are over other individuals. So with that being said, here's the front. I won't take up too much of your time because there are a couple pages. Okay, so let me close this a little bit. There are actually 12 sheets. And number one, the first one is developing a leader mindset. In developing a leader mindset, you're helping them serve as a leader. I'm going to read a little of the description. That, first of all, the leader was once an individual contributor and now is a first-time manager. It involves not change in tasks, but a fundamental shift in mindset. Developing a leader mindset entails adopting a broader perspective, focusing on guiding your team to success rather than only achieving individual goals. So as an HR professional, it's important to key in on that, developing your managers into leaders. Why is this important? It establishes a solid foundation for future leadership growth, sets the tone for a culture of continuous improvement. Then it has a question, and each of the managers should receive one of these books, and they can work on it on their own, but I would highly recommend that they work together in a group. New managers, actually managers who have some experience, so they'll be able to talk about their experiences and just help one another. Then I've given exercises to cultivate the skill, and that's huge. That will help these managers key into that leadership, to cultivate that leadership skill. A self-assessment, periodically analyze your behaviors and decisions to ensure alignment with leadership principles. And that's the first exercise. And then over in the right column, it states, how will you go about cultivating this skill? However, if you regularly exhibit this skill, please share your actions, steps, or how you'd like to improve. What is everyone thinking about this? Are these exercises ones that you think would be great for your managers? Peer feedback, role playing, long-term planning. HR professionals, I challenge you to think about the exercises and how they would apply in your organization to your managers, and change them if you see that there's another exercise that might be a little bit more appropriate. Okay, going to lesson 2, building trust and credibility. It's the cornerstone of leadership. Successful leadership, you got to have trust. It means your team can rely on you to make sound decisions. There doesn't need to be a lot of wavering where the manager's like, okay, we're going to do this. Okay, we're going to do that. And they've got to be ethical. So you want sound decisions. You don't want them really rushed, but you want them sound, and you want the managers to have backup on this. And you want them always to uphold ethical standards. And I'm going to go down to the exercises. Exercises to cultivate this skill. Consistency. And then you ask the manager, how will you go about cultivating this skill? How's the manager going to go about cultivating this skill? I would recommend that you as an HR manager, there is room to write on here. However, I think it would be key, and maybe perhaps I'll put together one and post it, to have them a journal. Allow managers to write down what they're doing consistently every day. Also write about their listening actively activities that they do throughout the week. Admit mistakes. I would have managers to write down, where they've admitted mistakes. We are not perfect. All of us, we are not perfect. And it's important to learn from our errors. And it's important to let, their subordinates know, hey guys, I had this, decision locked down, but you know what? I made a mistake and this is how I'm going to improve it. So have the managers write down their mistakes and have them reflect upon it. Emotional intelligence. Now this is, I don't know, somehow, this can be inherent, to a lot of people. They're very aware of their they're outside and they're able to key into different feelings. And I don't know if your managers have taken the Myers-Briggs, but that kind of keys into emotional intelligence. However, if you've read the book, Emotional Intelligence can actually be learned. So with that being said, I'm going to go a little bit into emotional intelligence. As I mentioned, it's the ability to understand and manage your own emotions as well as those others. It is crucial for effective communication, problem solving, and conflict resolution. And it enhances the dynamics within your team. And some of these exercises, self-reflection. Take time to understand your emotional triggers and responses. Take the time to have managers write this down. As they self-reflect on this, they may realize, oh, that was not the emotion I should have exhibited. Yes, it's hard to control your emotions, but as a manager, you're going to have to try your best. You want to you want the managers to key in on conflict resolutions because they're going to have to mediate in team conflicts and find constructive solutions. And as mentioned, like I said, I think it's very important for this all these lessons may be held, you might want to hold them weekly and just have the managers go through one a week and then have a manager meeting. They pull out their notebook, they give their answers, and they interact with other managers to learn. You learn from others who've possibly made mistakes in the past, and you learn from those who have been there for quite a while. Okay. Well, number one, you've got to position yourself as a leader. You want the managers to position themselves as a leader. Number one, they've been an individual contributor. So as a newer seasoned leader, you need to effectively position yourself to earn respect and trust of your team, peers, and superiors. This involves setting expectations, and I think that is huge, especially when managers are doing performance review. You've got to set those expectations. Hey, Johnny, I expect you to, do this and that within the manufacturing facility. You need to oversee the preventative maintenance. Get the report back to me that shows that the preventative maintenance steps have been executed on a monthly basis. You've got to set expectations. Employees have to know what is expected of them. If they don't, they will be, what's expected of me? I really don't know. There needs to be no confusion. We'll go down to some of the exercises. First impressions, be mindful of how you present yourself in the first interactions with your team. HR professionals, I would recommend that like I mentioned, you want to have the new managers in there and some seasoned managers in there. But if you know that there's a manager or an individual that's going to be promoted and they know that they're going to be promoted, have them hop in on these different exercises and give them a booklet. And here we go, networking. Build relationship with other leaders and departments in your organization. Building relationships, like I said, have the managers that are seasoned meet with those that are new. Self-improvement. One thing that I've seen in so many corporations, and I think is so key, is for managers to actually provide each of their employees a book on their team, and the team actually reads the book, and it's about the employees improving their work ethic and the manager actually going through the book with them. I found that to be very, very beneficial. Communicating effectively. Personal productivity. I know this is one that is really tough. As a manager, your managers, HR professionals, are going to be managing so many different balls. How are they going to be a manager and actually get their job done? Especially for those middle managers who are reporting up and they're also reporting down. It's going to be important for them to stop, think about, what they've got to be doing to get their work done. And like I said, time blocking, schedule chunks of time for different kinds of activities. Time blocking is very important. And I just created a time management booklet for employees. And it goes into time blocking and how to go into it. And I will cover that in another video. Task prioritization. Use techniques like the Eisenhower box to prioritize tasks. Some tasks are urgent and important. Some tasks are important, but they're not urgent. So it's going to be up to the manager as he has that time on his hands to figure out, okay, I've got to get this done and this done, but I don't need to get done those items that are urgent but not important. And so you push those out. Okay. As mentioned, self-development. Not only are you self-developing yourself, you're also self-developing your team. But your self-development is not going to stop. I would say reading and classes. You learn so much. I do remember what I write, but there's reading and, mentorship. You got to delegate with confidence. I've actually created, and because I'm really big into training managers, I haven't posted it yet, but it is a schedule, and it's called a delegating schedule, and it's one every day. It has number one on one side. It has 6 a.m. through 7 p.m., what a manager is doing. And then on the second page, it has who the manager needs to talk to during the day, who owes the manager something, communications that need to happen, and there's also a delegating list. So the manager can keep up with, okay, I delegated Sarah a task that involves auditing invoices for the maintenance department, and this needs to be done at this time. So that's written down. So a delegating list is really important. Clear instructions, follow up, and these delegating lists will help. Giving effective feedback. You want to give feedback, but you want to be specific about the feedback, and also you want to be timely. You want to have the managers Give timely feedback. It means so much. Hey, Julie, really like the way that you worked with your team members today to get together that particular project. You brought them together. Have the managers work on timely feedback and also specific. Not, you did a great job. No, it needs to be specific. I know I'm going a little fast, but I'm hoping that all of you will actually possibly go on my Etsy site and take a look at this. And if it's something that you think your managers would benefit from, then you can purchase it, or let me know if you have any questions, because I'm always here to answer questions about managers and any way I can help you. If I can create some training for them, online or whatnot, I'm happy to do that. Let me just tell you, and I've learned this as an HR director, when you train your managers, it makes your life so much easier. When you train your managers, they're going to interview the right people. They're going to give them those performance reviews that are spot on. And these employees they're going to want to stay at this company. They're going to say, hey, this is a great culture. I'm not leaving. Hence, that cuts back on turnover. And that helps an HR company immensely. It helps them to develop the culture. It helps them to develop a strong brand overall, and then go towards the organization. Okay, fostering creativity. I tell you what, one thing for me personally is I love to be creative. I love to do things such as this. I love to learn, but you know what? You need to foster creativity. The managers do within their own personal selves. Help them think outside the box. When they're thinking outside the box, they may be coming up with a great idea that is going to essentially help that department. So help them think outside the box. And some exercises. They can use brainstorming sessions. Give them some time to be creative. And make sure, it's very important that, there's never a stupid idea. There's never a stupid question. Make sure that environment that is creative, that employees feel safe. And like I said, as a manager, you want to hire and keep your best. And if you're trained in the right way, then you will definitely know how to keep your best. The skill-based interviews, the onboarding process, in the first 90 days, your employee knows if they're going to leave or if they're going to stay. And I would encourage engagement surveys, and hopefully they won't have to be conducting any exit interviews. With that being said, I know there is a lot to go over, and this has been a bit of a long video, but I really think that this is one of the products on my Etsy site that really will, it'll enhance your culture of your department and overall just make for a great working relationship with your managers, and it will be it'll enhance your culture and your organization as a whole. And as an HR manager or an HR director, that is your job. So happy New Year's Eve, and I also hope you have a happy New Year. And bring in that new year with your managers, teach them leadership, which will guide your organization to greatness. Thank you.